Welcome to The Explainer. Look, if you've ever felt completely paralyzed when trying to speak English naturally, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're breaking down a really fantastic lesson from the Speak Up Sessions English source material, and it's going to give you a clear step-by-step roadmap to absolutely shatter that fear of speaking.
So let me ask you something. Do you understand English perfectly fine when you're just listening to it, but the literal second someone asks you a question, you just completely freeze? You know the feeling, right? Your palms start sweating and your mind just goes totally blank. It is an incredibly frustrating experience. The words just will not come out because your brain is caught in this exhausting loop, desperately trying to translate every single thing from your native language into English in real time.
Well, you are definitely not alone in this struggle. In our source material, we're introduced to this great case study, an English learner named Fizu. Now, Fizu had practiced hard, but when he tried to actually just talk with a friend, he hit that exact same wall. He admitted, "I forgot everything, my mind just stopped." And honestly, that feeling of a mental block is so embarrassing in the moment, but it is an absolutely normal part of the learning process. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our roadmap for today's explainer. First, 1. The speaking trap. 2. The shadowing solution. 3. Real-life application. 4. Essential everyday vocabulary. And finally, 5. The fluency mindset. Section 1. The speaking trap. Breaking the mental translation habit. Section 2. The shadowing solution. Training your brain to think in English. You see, to really understand the solution, we first have to understand the trap. The teacher in our source, Masu, points out exactly why we freeze up. It literally happens because your brain is working overtime, trying to translate your native language into English before you even open your mouth. The core methodology to fix this is this incredibly powerful technique called shadowing. Shadowing basically means listening to an English sentence and repeating it immediately. It trains your mouth, your ears, and your brain to all work together. By bypassing your native language entirely, you're building muscle memory. You start to speak faster and build incredible confidence because you aren't translating anymore. You're just speaking. You're actively reducing that heavy cognitive load. And the steps for this, they are incredibly straightforward. Step 1, just listen to a simple sentence. Step 2, and this is absolutely crucial, do not translate it. Stop the mental gymnastics right there. Step 3, repeat it immediately out loud. During his session, Fizu practiced over 50 sentences using this exact method. And the result? No joke, he noted right away that his mouth felt way more comfortable making the shapes of the words, and the English just started flowing so much more naturally. All right, section 3. Real-life application, conversations for daily life. And this brilliantly illustrates how we take this technique out into the real world. We have to remember something really important here. Spoken English is super flexible. It is not some rigid math equation. For example, when someone asks how you are, answering with "I am fine" can feel a bit stiff, kind of robotic. But native speakers converse dynamically. They'll say "I'm doing well" or "I'm a bit tired, but I'm good." You really don't need to memorize just one single answer. You can and absolutely should adapt your phrasing based on how you actually feel in that moment. To really lock this in, Fizu practiced some incredibly common everyday scenarios with Masu. When you're ordering food, you don't need a complex, overly polite paragraph. A totally natural phrase is simply, "I'd like a chicken sandwich, please." If you're out shopping, instead of awkwardly pointing at clothes, you can just ask, "Do you have any jackets?" And when you're meeting people, a super smooth exchange is just, "I'm from Italy. What do you do?" Notice how incredibly simple, clear, and direct these responses are? That is exactly the goal we're going for. Section 4, Essential Everyday Vocabulary. Words and regional differences. Now, building that kind of speaking confidence definitely requires having the right toolkit of vocabulary ready to go for these situations. Take a crucial word like reservation. This simply means booking a table at a restaurant, a room at a hotel, or a seat on a plane in advance. During his practice, Fizu came up with a genuinely great, natural example sentence for his toolkit. "I made a reservation for 2 people." You know what's fascinating as you build up this vocabulary? The regional flexibility of English. On one hand, you've got British English terms like changing room or asking for the bill at a restaurant. And then you have the American English equivalents, fitting room and check. The really reassuring takeaway here is that you don't need to stress over picking the wrong one. Seriously, people will absolutely understand you, no matter which of these words you choose to use out in the wild. But as we expand that toolkit, we do have to watch out for those stiff, direct translations. If you're delayed, a direct translation from your native language might come out as, "Sorry, I am coming late." But the natural phrasing that native speakers actually use every single day sounds more like, sorry I'm running late, or sorry I'm going to be late. It's a tiny tweak, but man, it saves you from sounding like you're reading directly out of an old textbook.
Finally, Section 5, the fluency mindset. 5 tips to build speaking confidence. So we've covered the tactics, right? But now we really need the mindset to achieve that long-term fluency. Teacher Masu provided exactly 5 powerful tips to completely transform your daily practice and how you view your own progress. So, the crucial point is this brilliant quote right here. Mistakes are not bad. Mistakes are proof that you're trying. Just let that sink in for a second. This is such an empowering mindset shift. You literally have to embrace your mistakes. They aren't signs of failure at all. They're absolutely necessary tools for your learning journey. Every single mistake you make is actively teaching you something new. Let's quickly run through all 5 of these core tips. 1. Speak out loud every single day. Even if you're just talking to yourself about making a cup of coffee, do it. 2. Allow those mistakes. Don't be afraid of them. 3. Keep it simple. You really don't need fancy words to sound fluent. Native speakers use simple English all day long. 4. Practice that shadowing technique regularly to give your fluency a massive boost. And 5. Be patient with yourself. Improvement takes time, and consistency will always beat intensity. Masu leaves his student with a final challenge, and honestly, I want to extend that exact same call to action to you right now. Take just 10 minutes today to choose one daily conversation, say it out loud 10 times, and record yourself doing it. Listen back to your voice. Yeah, you might cringe a little bit at first, but you will actually hear your own undeniable improvement from that first try to the 10th. So, I'll leave you with this final provocative thought. Are you ready to stop translating and start speaking? Take what we've unpacked in this explainer today, fully embrace those inevitable mistakes, and go put that shadowing technique into practice right now. The confidence you're looking for, it's entirely within your reach. Catch you next time.